Hey guys, it's VinnyLambo here, and I just wanted to say that I will be starting a new playlist called VL Tech, so a link to that playlist will be in the description below. Also, my website just got redone, so check that out in the description as well. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get started. Today's episode will be a sub $400 Android phone comparison. 2015 Motorola Moto X Pure Edition versus the 2014 Google Nexus 6. So I will be splitting these episodes down to 4 categories: design, performance, camera, and extra features like expandable storage, fast charging, and etc. Then, my final version. First off, design. These two devices are both amazingly built by Motorola with metal frames, clicky buttons, small bezels, and smooth edges. One major point though is that the Nexus 6 comes in generic stock colors, while you can customize the Moto X endlessly with Moto Maker. Choose the back material, accent color, engravings, startup messages, and more. This is really what makes the Moto X stand out from the crowd, but the Nexus 6 has its glory too. The Nexus's 5.96-inch screen is at the top of the market for screen size. This real estate is great for gaming and watching movies and videos. Looking at pictures with its 1440p 4K ready screen is great too. The Moto X's screen is not 4K ready, but you don't need it when its 1440p IPS LCD panel is far brighter and more colorful than the Nexus 6's AMOLED display. Next up, performance. The Moto X being the newer phone, it has the newer Snapdragon 808 processor over the 805 in the Nexus. Both have 3 GB of RAM, but the Moto X has a 1.8 GHz hexa-core processor compared to a 2.7 GHz quad-core processor, so the Moto X has a leg up here. Over to the benchmarks, the Moto X barely outperforms the Nexus in the single-core score, but the opposite happens when the Nexus barely wins out the Moto in the multi-core score. Both of these margins were less than 100 points, so I would say that both are pretty much even. On to the third category, camera. The Nexus has less megapixels at 13 compared to 21 on the Moto, but it is not all about the megapixels. Each phone has a dual LED flash, 4K recording, HDR mode, and many other features. Both camera apps, on the other hand, are not very good if you want to fine-tune settings. Toggle flash, choose which resolution you want, HDR mode or not, and that's pretty much it. Both cameras take great pictures and would compete for top camera with today's flagships. Front-facing cameras, however, are a different story. The Nexus's 2 megapixel shooter is decent, but stick to your PC's webcam if you had one. The Moto X, on the other hand, has a wide-angled 5 megapixel shooter. It also has a front-facing flash for nighttime shots. That said, if selfies are your game, then I would go for the Moto. If not, then it's fair game for both phones. Now for the extras. Starting with the Nexus, you have turbocharging Generation 1 for a full charge in just over 100 minutes, which is much better than some phones I've seen. It has NFC for Android Beam, which can come in handy if you don't want to text a picture or video. It also has stereo front-facing speakers, which are awesome. It just takes the movie and video watching to a new level. They are loud and sound great as well. Moving on to the Moto, there are a bunch of extras, still holding the well-known question for why Motorola has made this phone so cheap.
Hold on, me bucko! Food's on the way! Hey, you got money, right? Aha! Okay, money! Children, it's time for the grand unveiling of money!
It has a microSD card for up to 128 gigabytes of additional space, which, if you ask me, is great compared to only the 32 gigabytes of maximum space over the Nexus. It has IP52 dust and water resistance, so the occasional splash of water won't hurt. It has Generation 2 of turbocharging, which gives a full charge in a little over an hour, which is one of the best I've seen. It also has NFC for Android Beam, as well as the exact same stereo speakers as the Nexus. Again, I can't stress this enough, that these speakers are one of the best, if not the best speakers on a phone in the entire phone industry. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for, the final verdict. Each of these phones are great in their own ways, as well as a lot of similarities. With the Moto Z and 2 new Nexus devices coming out, both of these phones will receive an even bigger price cut, maybe even being sub $300 phones. If you are a person that likes to customize your heart out, take professional selfies, then the Moto is for you. If you like the great camera and big 4K ready screen, then the Nexus is for you. To me, having unlimited styling options, great performance, and awesome cameras front and back is the tide turner for me, making the 2015 Motorola Moto X Pure Edition a champion for the best sub $400 phone. If you guys like my first VL Tech video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.